boy. I was not expecting this. I was only supposed to be dropping 3 videos this weekend. Nope, said SNK, you're dropping more content because we got more news for you. Oh, SNK, always making me make more content. But you know what, I'm glad about that. I'm actually quite glad. I'm glad about a couple of things, actually. First of all, before I say anything else and before I forget and go into my little rant here or whatnot, thank you Rooflemonger and thank you SNK. Thank you Rooflemonger for pressing SNK on the future of KOF 15, and thank you SNK for finally saying something. That is literally all I've wanted ever since this whole talk about Season 3 has been just hanging in the winds and people were uncertain, some people saying it's over, some people saying it's not. Thank you for saying something. Even though way back when, I made just the mere prediction that I felt like this was the end, and I said that because I felt like SNK was just going to give Fatal Fury City of the Wolves the big push. And the fact that I said I felt like Hinako or Season 2 was the end of KOF 15 getting more content, I had people mad at me and all this other stuff and everything. Look here, every prediction I make is not what I want to happen. When I make a prediction, I'm actually trying to predict what I think will happen in our reality. And not to mention, at that time, we didn't have the information that we had now. Because after SNK had confirmed that they really want KOF 15 to be at SWC for years to come, that right there pretty much hinted that they couldn't leave this game in the state that it's in. Whether it's the matter of characters, whether it's the matter of balance. It just couldn't stay like this for too long, even though I think the current balance it's okay compared to what was before, but it still can be better. Balancing in fighting games, as I'm sure most of you know, is probably one of the trickiest things to do. My hat's off to anybody, any company that really tries. But yeah, just given the direct quote from Rooflemonger's interview when asked about a Season 3 or pretty much the future of KOF 15, Oda responded by saying, "We are planning to add a few more characters to the game, more details to come in the future, but there's nothing to explicitly share today." I'm gonna get back to that momentarily. And for the sake of clarity, Roof presses on this topic a little bit more by asking, "So there is more life in King of Fighters 15 for sure?" To which the translator answered, "Yes." Now the problem that I have with this, and it's not really major, y'all couldn't have said anything at the Summer Game Fest? Like, you really couldn't have just thrown up something Season 3 inbound? At the same time though, I guess I can understand it since I know there were reports going around talking about how much it costs per minute for companies to have their games advertised or whatnot, so maybe SNK was just dead set on pushing their premier product to the crowd that's going to be at Summer Game Fest. And from what I could tell, just asking around and looking at stuff, the people that are watching stuff like Summer Game Fest and the Game Awards and I guess almost anything that Jeff is involved with, it's mostly centered, or at least leaning towards, the mainstream, casual, air quotes, normie audience, and between KOF 15 and Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, the latter is definitely going to be more of a game for this particular audience. More so because, and I still can't wait to see how they're going to do this, SNK actually going to, you know what I'm going to use in-game terminology, rev up the single player experience. But back to KOF 15, thank you SNK, thank you Rooflemonger. Honestly, I got tired of all the talk about Season 3 because I'm not really a fan of month-long teases like this. I understand they're constantly at work and there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's probably only select times you can say stuff like this, but my whole thing is just say something. Say something. It's despite the prediction I made earlier, I didn't want it to be the end of KOF 15. I would actually love for KOF 15 and City of the Wolves to both be getting new content and pretty much running side by side. I'm all for that. SNK did say they wanted to actually push themselves back out into the forefront again, wanting to revamp a whole bunch of other series that have been slept on. But yeah, despite my initial prediction that Season 2 was going to be the end of it, there was always one thing that kind of bothered me, and I always kind of felt like some people might not like the fact I say this because they might like this particular character, but let me just speak it and you'll see where I'm coming from. For the record, I don't dislike Hinako. I was actually quite happy to see her return. I get more excitement when characters that we haven't seen in some time make a comeback in more recent games. But with that being said, I want you to think about this. And I know there's gonna be a variety of different opinions on it, and that's fine. Do you really think that Hinako is a good character to end a particular fighting game, in this case KOF 15's content run? Like, would this be like the final character that you'll be like, okay, the roster's fine? I wouldn't think so. Even though we haven't seen her in quite a while, I just can't see it. And it's not to say Hinako's a bad character, she isn't, but not really a character that I would like end my content run on. Like, let's look at the previous couple of SNK games that have had seasons worth of DLC and look at what characters those particular games ended on. Like Samsho, the last character that they ever released for that game was Baiken. Prior to at least them playing the Who's That Pokemon game, I'm pretty sure this character was not expected to be in this game. Honestly, I think most of the guest characters in Samurai Showdown were a tad bit surprising, unless some leak happened or whatever, but I don't pay attention to those all that much. But yeah, ending the character DLC for Samurai Showdown with Baiken, that's dope. That's a pretty banger ending if you ask me. What about KOF 14? The last character in that game, Blue Mary. Again, widely beloved character, somebody I remember a lot of people wanting in KOF 14 at the time. Again, not a bad character to end on. But then we look at KOF 15 and it's Hinako. Again, she's not bad, but is Hinako really a character where you're like, okay, I'm content, we're good, KOF 15 is complete? That was just the only thing that bothered me, but I just felt like SNK was gonna SNK and just do something disappointing, but nope, it's not over, and I'm glad it's not over. Now that brings us to, I guess, the $1 million question here. Who is gonna be in Season 3? Well, we could look at the polls of our old pals over at Power Geyser. Looking at the top 6 of this here seems like a pretty solid season if you ask me. Like, I wouldn't mind it if they had all these characters in Season 2 with Vice and Mature being a nice little 2-for-1 because, come on, they're basically like a tag team, like a legitimate actual tag team. I am not gonna pick on the KOF 15 slogan this time, but I would hope there were some characters in here that are quite surprising. Again, I wish SNK would understand it. It's not a troll, it's not a joke, it's not just a meme. People legitimately like the US sports team. They do, okay? Don't buy into the online stuff. People legitimately like these characters, because I would definitely love to see Heavy D in this game. I don't care much for the other two, but hey, if they brought them all in, I wouldn't care. I got Heavy D. Crazy as that might sound, I do find that to be somewhere in the realm of possibility. Also, seeing what has happened in Street Fighter 6 recently with the franchise finally getting on the third-party guest character bandwagon, perhaps it's time for KOF's main line to finally do that? Because technically KOF already has that with Makoto Mizuguchi in Maximum Impact, but we're talking about the mainline series here. We're talking about mainline because, of course, you know, Falcon and his creations, I don't know, SNK is acting like they don't exist, at least in my eyes. Somewhat, given the Melee video that I mentioned earlier, because they have acknowledged the birthday of Alba. Just saying, but getting back to the point at hand, a third-party guest character for KOF 15 would be incredible. However, part of me feels like they're going to save that for City of the Wolves. Part of me is really thinking that we're about to get an exchange of sorts here. Yeah, I do think we might get some semblance of a guest character from Street Fighter or just from Capcom in City of the Wolves. Again, these companies love this type of cross-promotion, and honestly, it's really good for City of the Wolves because, again, if you look at the time in which Mai and Terry are gonna come out, City of the Wolves should already be out. But yeah, I'm very happy with this news. I know some people like, ha ha ha, your prediction was wrong. Do y'all not realize there are certain predictions that I make and I want to be wrong? Whatever, there's no getting through to some of y'all. But anyways, let me know what you think about this. I'm pretty sure most of y'all are happy about a Season 3. Who would you want to see in KOF 15 Season 3? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, I am the Chris Lotus signing off. You all take care of yourselves, be safe out there, be cool to each other, and please stay cool by staying hydrated for everybody in the heat. See ya.